What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Good start to the week. What better time to talk more losing your fat, getting rid of it forever, permanently. Liposuction is the only way that I know to physically get rid of that fat. You can try diet, you can try exercise, but nothing is going to isolate and get out the specific fat in one area that you want. I don't care how many sit-ups you do, crunches, none of that stuff's going to specifically target the fat on the stomach. It's impossible. When you lose weight throughout your entire body. Every single fat cell shrinks up uniformly. So if you have more fat cells in one area, like the abdomen, this becomes your problem area. Some women might have like their outer thighs or their arms where you have an abundant amount of fat in a particular area. So even when you lose weight, it's hard for you to tell the difference. So liposuction is a way that we can physically remove that fat forever. It's permanent. It's a permanent reduction of fat. All the studies say that fat cells don't reproduce. Therefore, once we remove it from that area, it's gone. And you can see right now we're having this special, we're trying to target these people who are looking to get rid of the front of the belly, these larger individuals, those of you who may have been told that you needed a tummy tuck, and I'm here to tell you that that's just simply not true. You've been lied to. So we can get rid of this belly without a tummy tuck, no big scar. It's just liposuction. And you might ask, well, if you suck out all that fat, don't you have an empty sack of skin hanging there? And I'm just gonna point, because look at the pictures. And if you don't believe me, go to our private Facebook group and go talk to these individuals, because these are the pictures that the individuals post themselves. These are not our pictures. You can see this is a picture from her house. So these are real pictures, real people, and it's hard to believe. I gotta be honest with you, it's hard to believe that it's even possible. But it is, and I see it day in and day out, and we've done this for thousands of people, and it's unbelievable. Shanae, if someone planned on having a baby within the next 2 years, do you think they should wait? Your fat and babies are two different subjects. The fat will still be there after you have a baby. It's there before, it's there after. It's not gonna change. However, if you wait till afterwards, you're gonna have to wait 6 months to a year after having the baby. I can tell you from my personal experience, my sister, she had nearly full body liposuction, and afterwards she's had 2 kids. And what she told me was that she gained weight like you normally would with a pregnancy. And when she went back to her, quote unquote normal weight, whatever that was for her, she said everything went back to the way it was when she got the liposuction. So it's all about maintaining the weight that you get when you, the weight that you are when you get the liposuction. So if you gain, let's say you gain 30 pounds with pregnancy, as long as you go back and lose that 30 pounds, you should be back on even grounds to where you were before. Now the liposuction is the physical removal of the fat cells. And again, once those fat cells are gone, they don't go through this cycle of expansion and contraction. So many of us go through this roller coaster ride, I like to call it, where we will gain weight, and then you get tired of being heavy, and you lose weight. You go through some crash diet, and only to and I'm telling you this because I used to do this. Okay, and so I know that lots of people do this, and it's like this yo-yo diet thing where you feel fat for whatever reason, and all of a sudden you got to lose this weight, and you lose it quick. It takes you a month, but you lose 20 pounds, and boom, now you feel good, and you're like, now I can go back and go back to my old habits and do the same things I did before, and get off this damn diet because you're sick of the diet because you changed everything, right? Well, what happens when you change? You go back, and maybe it takes 2 months, maybe it takes 3 months, but you're right back to where you started. And it's this up, this down, it's up, this down, it's up, this down. I mean, I'm sure everybody's done it at some point in their life. There's very few of us who have been able to maintain consistency over a long period of time. So in order to have success after liposuction, it's important to maintain that consistency in some way. And even if you go up and down, it's the realization that as soon as you go back to that level, everything will be where it is at that level. And then if you gain weight, you're probably not going to like it, because not that you're going to gain weight in the area that we treated, but rather you're going to gain weight in other areas where you have fat. Remember, you gain weight where the fat cells are. So if we remove them from your abdomen, you don't gain the weight there. You're going to gain the weight where you have the fat cells. Where is that? It might be your butt, it might be your breasts, it might be your arms, it might be your face. Wherever you have fat cells, that's where you'll gain it. The big myth, people think, oh, I'm going to get liposuction, then the fat's going to come back somewhere else. It doesn't come back anywhere else. All it is that if you're not living a healthy lifestyle, you're going to gain weight wherever you have those fat cells. And once you remove it from your target area, it's going to become, your problem area is going to become somewhere else. Okay. Molly says, I don't have a belly. Does it work? I'm not sure what that means. This discount specifically is for people who have that large belly. That's who we're trying to target. Maybe that's what you meant. But if you're getting like 360 lipo, you know, the 20% will count for the front of the abdomen. So there's still a discount there. You guys get BBL procedures done in your clinic? Of course we do. You know, all BBL is the removal of fat, so the sculpting of the shape, and the addition of the fat, so putting the fat back into the area where we want it. So we take the fat away to create the curves, you know, the hourglass figure, the shaping of the butt, and then we can add volume to get that protrusion, that filerness of the fat. And it's called, the term that they call it is the Brazilian butt lift, or BBL. That's just a term. Okay, to make an appointment and schedule is after mid-January. Molly, so if you're serious, you know, especially if you're serious about taking advantage of this special, you'd have to get the paid consultation. It's a $100 fee. It expedites, and you'll jump to the front of the line. You'll meet with me specifically, or Kale, my other partner. We'll do the consultation for you, discuss your options, get you that quote, and get you going quickly. And then the procedures, we'd like you to get these procedure done in January. However, I know that's kind of pushing the limit for some of you. So we're probably going to have to push it back to February, give you a little bit more time to actually plan everything, get the procedure done. Okay, why you guys are only working 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off? Well, Molly, you may not know me. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've done well over 15,000 procedures, and I'm tired, and I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I like changing people's lives, and I like to have a life. And so for me, this is my lifestyle. However, I am working to expand, and that we're able to help more people. So Kale has been helping me out for the past year, and he does an excellent job, and we're able to reproduce the same results and treat more people. So in the future, that may change. Maybe, look, I'm flexible, and this is my business, so I get to do whatever I want to do, and in this situation, I want to pack everything into 2 weeks so I can then have 2 weeks free to spend time with my family and friends and explore the world and do other things with my life. So that's what I'm trying to do at this point. Is there any way to reduce the visceral fat? Absolutely, and that's through diet and exercise. The visceral fat, if many of you may not know what that is, the visceral fat is the fat behind the muscle. So we have different layers in our body. It's really amazing the way our body works. We have different layers that encapsulate. So the fat layer we call the subcutaneous layer, so it's just under the skin. And then you have that big thick fat layer, then underneath the fat layer you have the muscle. And then the muscle, behind the muscle is another fat layer called the visceral fat, and it's like actively surrounds the internal organs, and it's meant for protection. So you have the visceral fat there for a purpose. It's there for a purpose. It protects the bowels. So it becomes a problem when we gain weight and we start gaining weight in this visceral area, and then it bulges the muscle out. So we get now kind of looks like a beer belly, or some women will look pregnant because they have this visceral fat. Visceral fat is less common in females, more common in males. You'll see more men, like 250-pound men, that you can't pinch any fat on their belly because it's all visceral fat. So that sucks for them. But for women, it's less of an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue, but it's less of an issue. So we can get more of that fat out of that fat layer. That makes a big difference with the liposuction. How many areas does she have done? I'm not going to play that game. I don't know, but it's important for you if you are curious about yourself. Obviously, if you're asking about someone else, you're curious about yourself. So if you're curious about yourself, you got to get a consultation. Each individual is different, as you can see from the pictures up here. We have patients that are pushing 300 pounds and patients that are 110. So it's totally different. One quote for one individual and in the areas that we treat on them is going to be different than another person. We have this generic pricing that we've been doing for the past 10 years or so, and it works like this. We do $12.99 per area, and the size of the area is about the size of your hand. You see how my hand's spread out? It's wide. We're very aggressive and liberal with these areas. However, when you get larger individuals have the larger surface area that they need to cover. And you can see this individual here, she's got, not only is it wider, so we have to cover a wider area on the front of the abdomen, but it's also elongated. It's much longer than a normal abdomen. It folds over. Not only that, when you turn sideways, they're going to be bulging out this way. So like if the breasts are here and the belly's bulging out, that means you have a big, thick layer of fat. And it's that you got to realize that is a lot of work to get out. This stuff, liposuction is not easy. That's why a lot of doctors don't like doing it. I've figured out techniques to make it easier for me, and plus I've done it so much, it's like I built up this muscle memory, and I've done very well with it, and we've got amazing results. But a lot of the doctors don't like doing that, so you gotta, we try to adjust. It's like I said, it's really hard work, so we try to accommodate and make it fair. So if it's going to be hard work for us, then it's going to be more expensive. So we're just trying to make things fair. Okay. See Molly, like back or the arms? Let's see. Well, yeah, so I think Molly, you're asking, you had an elongated question for multiple things. It says, I don't have belly fat, does it work somewhere else, like back of the arms? Yes, so we do liposuction on all parts of the body, so wherever you have your issue, Granville's pulling out a picture here, so you can see she's got that kind of like, we might call it, muffin top, or it's like, I like to call them the bumps, your speed bumps, and this is, when you have this issue, you don't like wearing, form-fitting clothes, because through the clothes you can see these bumps, these speed bumps there. We call these the back bra rolls. But there's women, look, I've seen some really weird stuff over the years, and I don't want to call it weird because you're not weird. It's just, as people gain weight, the body does and forms different structures. And it's, we call it weird because it's, in our society, it's not, shall we say, more common. But there's some, just different things. The human body does different things, and it's a form. The fat starts to take different shapes and molds. It has different densities on different individuals. The skin tone and elasticity is different for everybody. I mean, the results, it's quite amazing that we've been able to get such consistent results with our patients, despite all the difference of body types and issues that individuals have. It's incredible, really. And the cool thing I like about this, you see, when you take the fat off the upper back and the core, the chest area, it slims down that body, and everybody has a natural shape already. Our bone and muscle structure is already there, and human form is such that we naturally will be a little bit wider up top, we'll come in the middle, and then we'll go out and be a little bit wider down below. Now, how that proportion works out on your body is going to be a little bit different than how it works out on someone else's body. However, the same general structure is there for everybody. So all we're doing is almost like taking off the blanket that's covering up the shape already. You already have it. We're just uncovering it for you, and showing you what is possible for your body. So you can see how when we take that fat off the back area there, it goes down to your natural shape of the ribs, the rib structure. Now, again, there's some people that have some very unique, different rib structures, which cause different looks to them and different proportions. However, most people are pretty consistent. which allows for us to, all we have to do is take the fat. If we can be successful in getting a substantial amount of fat off an area, then your body will take form every time, every time. And it's super cool to see, because you take these like traditionally looking like heavier set women, or heavier set bodies, we'll call them, and we're able to take the fat off there, then all of a sudden it transforms the individual into a person who has it's just a different look. And when you see it, if you didn't see them from the first picture, you'd have no idea. And that's the thing that to me is so exciting, because the truth is that what people know about you is only what you tell them. So when you meet someone new, after you've already made your transformation, when you meet somebody new, they don't know that you were heavier set before. They don't know that you were insecure with yourself before. They didn't know that you would always hide before. They didn't know that stuff. So future forward, it's a change like that. And now everybody moving forward will only know you as this new person. Unless, here's the big unless you tell them that you're someone else, then you become that person. So when you start telling someone that you're insecure and you start acting insecure, all of a sudden you become insecure. It's crazy how this stuff works. So if you never tell them and you act like you're confident and you do the things that a confident individual would do, the only thing that they can think is that you're confident. That's the only thing that they can think. Why would they think anything else? This is the transformation. This is the taking us from the physical to the mental to the unbelievable stratospheric changes of your life. If you can make these little changes mentally and make these realizations mentally, then you can become whatever you want. And I see this happen all the time, and it's not as difficult as you might think, but it's easy not to do. And so I've said this before, it's really easy to do these simple disciplines, but it's really easy to not do. And that's the big problem, is because people fall victim when things are too easy. And they want to believe that it has to be more difficult than this. But the truth is that it's just simple decisions. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. This lady, the issues that she had with her arms were, I mean, her arms were so big that she couldn't even fit into regular clothes. So despite her insecurities with her arms, she never wanted to show her arms, or embarrassment, whatever, she had to wear like either sleeveless shirts or big bulky stuff that she didn't like. So to change like this, you can't even start to comprehend how it affects a person psychologically or intellectually, where they can act differently. It's almost as if they give themselves the right to act differently, and so they tell us, oh, I'm not fat anymore, so I don't have to act like that. However, with the same way that can miraculously change someone's life, if it doesn't change and they don't change the way that they think about themselves, then they will continue acting as if they're the same person that they were before. Because the truth is, if the psychology doesn't change, then the way that they portray themselves will be exactly the same. And if the way that they portray themselves, it'll start to create conflict in the world, in that other people will see you a certain way and you'll be portraying a totally different person. So if you're portraying a heavier set individual and insecure individual, but other people see you as a thinner individual, there's a mismatch and it won't make sense. So you have to be consistent with whatever it is that you claim to be. Really, that's all it is. You have to claim to be something. Claim to be a thinner person, claim to be a confident person, claim to be an intelligent person, and then back it up. When I was growing up, they had this phrase, fake it till you make it. And this is the same concept, same idea. You just have to act as if. There's another phrase I really like, and is that act as if you are this confident person. And at first, it's gonna feel uncomfortable and weird, and you'll feel insecure, and you'll feel like you're acting like it's not you. It feels odd at first. But then when you do it over and over and over, you'll start to see the response from other people around you. And as you see the response from other people around you, they start acknowledging the change that you've made. And over time, if you do it consistently enough, it becomes who you are. And as when other people accept that as who you are is when it becomes a new reality. Hey Grandma, could you grab my water, please? Okay. Stacy says, I'm excited. My shape lipo changed my body, but it's up to you to change your mind frame. Absolutely. You know, people, I talk about mind frames a lot, mindsets, and it's almost as if I've utilized specific mindsets to take advantage of situations in my life, and you can do it too. And it's almost like you kind of, I don't want to say lie to yourself, but it's put yourself in a belief structure that allows you to make certain decisions. So one belief structure would be that my body is a temple. And so if you start believing that your body is a temple, and then you start acting as if your body is a temple, you'll make different decisions. It's a different decision making value. You can do the same thing with other stuff that, you know, like if you want to have the mindset of okay, one mindset that I utilized was that my competitive nature. I had this mindset of competitiveness that I always had to win everything. And so coming up in my career, I always felt like I had to win, and I was very competitive, and that competitiveness allowed me to excel and advance. Now, as I have already succeeded at a lot of things, I have then, in retrospect, seen that same mindset has also caused other problems in my life. And being overly aggressive or overly competitive, it's led to problems in my life that I've chosen to change. And so I've chosen not to utilize that mindset as much as I have in the past. But it's just a mindset. These individuals that take on this new mindset and they change their mind, and they have different values and different beliefs. Their value system might change to where, you know, it's really important to live longer, or it's really important that they are a good example for their family or their kids or their friends. It's a different way of thinking. And if you could change the way that you think, you can literally change everything in your life. In fact, the only way for you to change the physical world is to start changing the way that you think. Because when you change the way that you think, it will automatically manifest into your life. Meaning, you'll automatically start doing the things that will bring that thought to life in your world. Invest in yourself. Absolutely. You know, I would suggest that investing in yourself is by far the highest return you will ever get on any investment, because it's not in life. It's not about what you get. It's about what you become. And each situation that you struggle through is making yourself stronger and better. And even though you might physically get some things, it's not the physical things they'll fade off and they'll go away, and their value of, the meaning to you will fade away. But who you become and the skills that you attain will always be there, and you'll always have access to them. You may forget about them, you may lose memory, but it's always there. You just have to remember. So start focusing on what you can become rather than what you're going to get. So don't focus on I have to lose 20 pounds, and you have these numbers and stuff. Like that's not that important. It's really, you need to learn how to eat right for the rest of your life. That's more important than losing the weight right at this moment. It's better that you learn how to eat right and then figure out how your body works, because literally everybody's body works a little bit differently. And so that's why there's so many of these different diets and fads and things out there that they talk about these different philosophies, because everybody's body is a little bit different, and your philosophy on life may be different. The activities that you want to do, your demands, your body demands, it's all a little bit different. You know, if I were looking to get big and strong and lift heavy weights, then I would start following somebody that was a bodybuilder and a heavy weightlifter, right? If I'm looking to get, you know, lean and skinny and, you know, and toned, then I'm looking more at like runners and you know, and yoga, and you know, it's a different look, a different belief structure. When you want to start changing the way that you are, you just have to start being around other people that are doing the things that you want to do. Now, we've kind of made that a little bit easier for you in that all you have to do is join our private Facebook group, and there's hundreds of girls there that have had procedures already, and they're sharing their information, and more are getting on there every day that we're doing procedures. So take the time, go find people that are like you, whatever that means. You know, I don't know what that means to you, but find people that are like you, that have the same mindset, the same belief structure, maybe their same body type or size or whatever the case. Find people that are like you and follow and see what they're doing, because if they're doing it, just maybe, I don't know for sure, but just maybe it might work for you too. And you don't have to recreate that wheel. You don't have to make things up. All you do is follow and see what someone else is doing and take those ideas and try to implement them in your life. How long do you have between sessions? So when you say sessions, I just want to clarify that I don't recommend doing liposuction on the same part of the body multiple times. So for example, we would treat the front of the abdomen here and get all that fat off, and it's not like I don't suggest coming back and doing another session on that area. However, to complete the 360, you may be talking about doing other areas. So to do the second procedure or third procedure, those would be waiting about 30 days in between at minimum. Some people choose to wait a little bit longer depending on how you're healing. Okay, I see. Yeah, you need multiple areas. Yeah, so it's about 30 days in between, and you know, we try to talk about this as a journey, because you have to start realizing that it's not one of those like snap your finger and everything's great. It's right. So these procedures, now we're going to get the fat out right away. The results, you're going to see them pretty quickly. However, there is a recovery phase. There is a healing process afterwards, and not only that, it's continuing to live a healthier lifestyle. And most women, whatever we're doing now is going to solve one of your problems, and you probably have other problems that you're working on as well. So it's not like you're going to do this and all of a sudden it's like the world is great for you. It may be a longer process. You might have to do other things. You might have to change your diet and exercise routines, and you might have to do other things in order to achieve the goals that you're looking for. But I mean, seeing people like this it's just exciting to me that it's possible for you. Can you transfer my belly fat to my front? I don't know what that means exactly, but to the boobs. Okay, yeah, so we can take fat from anywhere essentially and transfer it to the breast or the butt is the most common areas, but literally you can put them anywhere. Yeah, so and typically, so when I do the fat transfer to the butt, I like to treat like the sides and the lower back, which is the surrounding portion to the butt. And then for the breasts, it's not bad. You can take it from the front of the belly, which is nice, because in this one, like, you can see how the belly might stick out further than the breasts, and that's not a good proportion. So when we take that down, we're going to take the belly down, and then we add more volume. So we're going to increase the proportion of where the breasts stick out further than the belly, and that it just has a better look to it. You can see here the angles are a little bit different. Where she almost looks like she's sloping backwards because her belly is sticking out further at the bottom than the top, and that changes here. And when we add volume to the breast, it just makes that much of more of a contrast. Okay. Thick Madam Fitness. Are the arms one area or two? On smaller individuals, they're one. On larger individuals, they're two. Look, and I'll tell you, like that last lady you saw with the pictures. I mean, those are big arms. And just out of the arms, I think we got 4 liters of fat just out of the arms. So it's not easy to get this. It's not easy to get the fat out of there. It's a big deal. So again, these are not one area arms. So it's like we try to accommodate. We try to make. We're not going to turn bigger people away, but it's a lot more work for us. And so if you want us to do the work for you, then it's got to be fair. Okay, is the accommodation for out of town patients? So we don't have an accommodation per se. However, there is a recovery house that we're affiliated with, and if you join the support group, there's information there. Also for Lexi is the one that does that, and she also offers lymphatic massages for out-of-town guests. But with that said, you don't have to stay at a recovery house. This isn't like Miami. Our patients actually walk out of the procedure and walk out of our office feeling fine. You don't have to do a recovery house, but it's totally up to you whether you want to. Particularly those of you that might be coming out here by yourself. It might be more beneficial to be at a place to have someone there for you. It's kind of peace of mind. So for out-of-town guests, we do recommend that you fly in the night before the procedure. Make sure you show up on time. And then we also suggest that you stay for about 48 hours after the procedure so you can assure that you're ready to travel. If you can imagine, after you had this procedure, you're going to have some swelling, some bruising, some drainage of this fluid, and it's not easy to travel in those conditions. However, it's possible. We just don't recommend it. So waiting 48 hours makes it a little bit easier for that. All right, we got a question here. Do you have to get skin tightening, or will that be determined at the time of the procedure? So there are certain areas where we require the use of the Smart Lipo, because and the only reason we require it is not like we're trying to force things on people, but like I've done thousands of procedures, and from my experience, I can tell you that the people that get the laser, use the laser, they have tighter skin afterwards. And so when you have an area particularly that we're concerned about looseness of the skin, so particularly the front of the abdomen, the arms, the chin, these are all areas that skin likes to droop and sag. So when we remove the fat with a liposuction, we utilize the laser to tighten the skin. And studies showed you get up to 57% more skin tightening when you use a laser versus liposuction alone. Stacy says, if anyone needs encouragement or help, please find me in the support group. That's Stacy Pierre. Okay. How many areas is the full back? The full back is not a term that we use. Therefore, I don't know what you're talking about exactly. You have to keep in mind that words that you're going to see, just because someone else uses those words doesn't mean that I know what they mean. So what does full back mean exactly? And again, full back for a person this size is totally different from full back of a person that's 300 pounds. So I just don't know. I'm sorry. So I would love to help you, but in order to help you specifically, when you have these questions about yourself, you gotta send pictures. If I had pictures, it'd be way easier to say, okay, well, we need to do this, this, and this. Make sure that we get these shapes and treat this area because this is gonna look the best. That would be what we talk about with the consultation. So if you're serious, then get the consultation. And if you want to take advantage of the special, the 20% special off the front of the abdomen, the expedited consultation is the way to go at this point. We do have free consultations, although we're booked out till February. However, I do want to let you know that if you have a free consultation scheduled and it's booked out till February, we are trying to expedite. Tomorrow specifically, I'm going to be in the office doing consultations all day long, and I'm just going to try and slam through as many of these consultations as possible. And these are specifically the free consultations that we're going to try and get caught up on. So if you would like your consultation expedited, simply call the office tomorrow. Call us in the morning, and just get your name on the list, and then I'll get to you when I can. Raina says, how long after we put the deposit down can you guys respect the 20% discount? So originally, Raina, it was originally it was where you had to schedule the procedure in January. However, I understand that that's it's a little bit unrealistic, so I am willing to push it back into where you can get the procedure in February. However, this is not a get your procedure in the summer discount, so you're gonna have to pay the regular price when it comes to the summer. Okay, so it's 20% off the entire stomach area, or 20% off one area of the stomach. So it's 20% off the entire stomach area. We're looking big bellies, 20% off. Make it go away. We're doing magic here. So this was Rebecca, and she had 360 lipo, but you can see that fold, everything disappears. And with this special, this 20% off the front of the abdomen, I'm really trying to help those individuals that larger individuals that may be concerned about BMI restrictions, because other places are turning them down because of their BMI. We're treating the front of the abdomen here, which isolates in the front, and we're able to get more aggressive, better results, because we are more aggressive in those. And ultimately, I'm trying to get that fold, that hanging belly. We're trying to get that fold to go away, and I've had a ton of success. It's super exciting, and I just wanted to help share that with the world. And so I was hoping that with this 20% off, we'll attract more individuals, and it's already working. Just last week, I had an individual that she was in I wouldn't say huge rush, but she put down the deposit. She had the consultation, put down the deposit, and had the procedure within a week. And everything just happened really quickly for her, and she was one of these big hanging bellies, and she's so young. It's amazing how these some of these things can happen to people, and it takes decades to happen, but some of these people are developing these big bellies, and they're only in their 20s, their mid-20s. So it feels really good to help people like that, and I want to applaud her for her action and taking action. Those of you who want to change your life but are unwilling to take action are just simply not going to change, and it's a shame, because those are the people who usually just sit there complaining and saying that they're a victim, that things never happen for them. Well, the things happen for the people that take actions in their life. If you're going to take action, you're the type of person that gets shit done, and if you get shit done, then your life will actually change. But it's whatever you want. If you don't want things to change, then you'll make excuses. If you want it to change, then you'll make shit happen. So true. Speak nothing but the truth. Okay, could you add the laser later? Yeah. We are super flexible. Look, I've done this for 15 years, thousands of procedures. Like, you can't throw anything at me that will even, I won't bat an eye. I've had so many, I'm open to change. I'm open to do anything. If you want to switch your whole procedure around at the last minute, it makes no difference to me. No difference. I've done this, all of it, so much that I can change on a dime, and make magic happen with whatever you choose. The only thing that I require is that you choose before the procedure. So I don't want to do this thing where we start a procedure, then in the middle trying to make decisions. I don't like doing that. Okay, how is the numbing done? So the numbing is done. It's called the tumescent technique. And this technique was invented by a dermatologist back in the 80s. And So this was a dermatologist that when he was doing his training, he thought it was just crazy that they had to put people to sleep for liposuction. So he thought it could be done better. So he came up with this idea where he was going to use just lidocaine in a small localized area and see if he can remove fat while the person's awake. And sure enough, no problem. He was able to get fat out of there. Problem became the use of the lidocaine. Lidocaine became toxic when you use too much of it. So that's where he said, well, let's dilute it, right? Let's dilute it in saline and see if we can spread it out over a larger area. So he started testing dilutions, and he came up with a dilution that seems to work well for us today, and it allows us to numb a very large area to remove significant amounts of fat while the patient's awake. It's actually quite amazing that this is even possible. The really cool thing about it, though, in addition to the numbing part, is that we use epinephrine. Epinephrine is adrenaline, which constricts the blood vessels. So we are able to constrict the blood vessels in all the areas that we're treating, and when you constrict them, it pushes all the blood away from the area. So you'll notice that the skin will turn a lot lighter, white in many cases, to where it's essentially all the blood moved away from the area. And now the awesome part about that is when we start removing the fat out of there, it comes out and there's very little blood loss, like very little blood loss. So it's quite incredible that that's even possible. Now, that in itself has solved many of the major problems with liposuction, which has made it significantly safer and allowed for these procedures to be done in office setting, which is what is, it's so much safer in an office setting. When people might think, well, I want to be in an OR. Well, there's all these doctors. Well, trust me, people go to the hospital to die. So if you just try and avoid hospitals as much as you can in your life, and you're gonna be pretty good. When you do general anesthesia in the hospital, the medication that they give you, it actually stops you from breathing. And when it stops you from breathing, they have to breathe for you. So they push a tube down your throat, and then they have a machine that pumps air, and it breathes for you. Sounds great, right? But what happens if the power goes out? What happens if the doctor accidentally presses the wrong button? What happens if he actually presses, more medication to cause other problems? I mean, there's so many potential problems with general anesthesia. It's crazy that people even choose to do that on an elective basis. But I can tell you, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to choose between the weight loss surgeries like lap band, or getting liposuction, or getting a tummy tuck. And I'll tell you my opinion on this. And again, you're gonna have to take this as just as an opinion. My opinion is gonna be different than other people's opinion. And it's based on my experience. So my opinion with this is that if you choose weight loss surgery, now weight loss surgery is gonna be good for some people. Typically, severe obesity, and I'll say, and I don't know where they're defining that at this point, whatever that means really, right? It's a label, but people that are say over 300 pounds, many of these other surgeries like liposuction, the doctors have written off those people and said, we don't want to do liposuction on someone that size. And part of the reason was that I heard that they say that it doesn't make a difference, which clearly that's nonsense. Because clearly we can get a lot of fat out of a person who's larger, and we can make a huge dramatic change. Clearly that's possible. So do you have to get the weight loss surgery? I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It depends on what you want to do. The weight loss surgery comes with lots of potential complications. So it's not as easy as just getting the procedure, because then you have to deal with other health issues after getting weight loss surgery. Tummy tucks. Tummy tucks are typically used primarily just for cutting away skin. So if you have fat, like say this young lady here, she has quite a bit of fat on the front of the belly, plus she has a hanging belly. So if she went to get a tummy tuck, what they would do is they would cut her a new hole for the belly button, and then they would cut off the skin on the belly, and then they would sew it back together. So maybe she wouldn't have that fold anymore. But they wouldn't do enough liposuction that would give her any nice shape. So she certainly wouldn't. She would still have that square shape, and that's, I think, a big problem with a lot of people that choose a tummy tuck, is they still have more of a square shape. Now, the doctors will sell you on liposuction and they'll claim that they're going to do a good job, but think about it like this. When you do general anesthesia, you're asleep, and it's really, really difficult for them to move you into different positions. When you're awake, you move yourself and you get in the absolute perfect position for me to get you magical results. When you're asleep, not so easy. So what they do is they put you in these weird positions that is uncomfortable for the surgeon, and because it's uncomfortable for the surgeon, the results aren't as good. And I see it time and time again. And if you go do your research, you'll see it as well. Okay, if the consultation is next month, does the deposit still need to be placed by the end of this month? Yes, Misha. If you want to take care of this, take advantage of the special. That's where the expedited consultation comes into play. But as I said, if you were doing the free consultation tomorrow, just tomorrow, only tomorrow, we will be expediting the free consultation. So call the office first thing in the morning and ask them to expedite it, so you won't have to pay the additional $100 fee, and we'll do the consultation tomorrow if we can fit you in. There's going to be a lot of people, so we're going to try to fit in as many people as we can. Okay, CJ Jackson, I want you to do my procedure 24 at my highest weight, 374, and I need a break through before I'm 30. CJ, we have got to change your life. 24 years old, 374. You know, CJ, I feel for you, and I know that there's lots of restrictions that come with that weight. And being 24, you probably, haven't quite got to that point to realize the massive health problems that this is going to lead to in the next decade or two of your life. However, 374, I'm sure, is very restrictive. So we can definitely help you out, but this is only one part of the solution for you. So it is imperative that you start making lifestyle changes, and you can make those immediately right now. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's weight loss surgery, whether it's liposuction, whether it's tummy tuck, any of this stuff's going to be expensive, and it's not like you have to do this all at once. But whatever you choose, any of them, any of the options, it still comes down to you still having to change your mindset, it's still having to change your lifestyle habits, and just you have to change your day-to-day habits, the things that you do. And if you don't change them, then nothing's going to work. The weight loss surgery will not work. I've seen time and time again that the people fail with the weight loss surgery. Tummy tucks, if you don't maintain your habits and lose weight, none of these things work. They work. Obviously, we can get the fat out of there, but you're just gonna regain the weight. If it only took you 24 years to amass 374 pounds, if you don't change your lifestyle, then that's gonna be higher. It's just gonna get higher. You have to start changing, and not only this is like drastic, right? You have to not only make little. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna cut out soda and lose this. No. You have to get drastic. If you want serious change, you have to get serious about this. So start taking drastic measures. And I don't know what that means to you, but you got to take drastic measures. And phentermine, I am not a fan of phentermine, CJ. Not a fan of phentermine. Any of these things, I know you're 24 years old, but you got to do research. All of these things that you're choosing, they have consequences. Phentermine it's like speed. And so even if you do lose weight on phentermine, what happens when you stop? Your body is going to be so used to being on speed all the time that nothing's going to want to work at that speed anymore. So you're going to end up gaining the weight back, and you'll probably gain it back quicker. And not only that, I've seen these patients all the time. They go. It's like you screw up your body, and you screw up all the mechanisms and the chemicals and things of that nature that your body doesn't know what to do. And when you start taking drugs and medications and things like that, it just totally F's up everything. So please do your research and don't take shortcuts. You can't take shortcuts. There is no shortcut. Don't expect there to be a shortcut. Liposuction is not a shortcut. It doesn't mean that you can do all the bad things still. It does not mean that. Getting a tummy tuck does not mean that you can still do the bad things. And especially the weight loss surgery. If you don't follow the rules of weight loss surgery, totally screw up everything. So start making the simple changes. Drinking more water. walking more every day. And you say, well, I walk, whatever. Well, walk twice as much, walk 3 times as much, drink more water, fast for longer, do the intermittent fasting and eat less. Look, I did this ton of research on longevity because I'm looking to live to be 150 if possible. And so I've done a ton of research on it, read a lot of books, and the number one thing to help us live longer is calorie restriction. The number one thing in every study around the world is calorie restriction. We're told that we need, whatever 2,000 calories is this diet that they tell us what we need. And if you want to follow the rules of the people that have been lying to us, the government, if you want to follow their rules, you're going to end up like you already are. So the number one thing for longevity, to live longer in your life, the number one thing is calorie restriction. So it's simply eating less. And especially if you're 374 pounds, if you stop eating, your body will just consume. It'll consume, because all the fat is extra energy. It'll consume the extra energy that you have in order to survive. And if you stop eating, your body will just eat that food, that fat in your body, and it'll shrink up. It happens. I promise you it'll happen. But you have to have that discipline. And it's not as easy as that, right? You can't just stop eating. You still need like vitamins and minerals, right? So you got to start learning. What do you need to do in order to take on these drastic changes in your life? And what can you do to still be healthy? All right. Critz says, Mama 4, never did nothing for myself. I have lost weight before, but my belly and arms don't go down much. So Critz, again, you got to start doing things for yourself. How can you be a good example for your kids if you don't ever take care of yourself? Do you want them to do the same? Do you want them to never think about themselves? Do you want them to never take care of themselves? You have to be an example and show the kids the future. Show our kids, the ones that are going to be ruling this world in the next couple decades, the ones that are going to be taking over for us. You got to show them the right way. Hey, and I promise you, it's not neglecting yourself. I've seen thousands of women who neglect themselves, don't take care of themselves, and they end up being overweight, out of shape, unhealthy, miserable, and depressed. No confidence. It happens. Take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, everything gets better. You're then able to show other people how to do it. But you got to figure it out for yourself. Okay. CJ says, I'm 5'11", and when people look at me, they say I don't look 374 pounds, but it's mainly my abdomen and fupa. CJ, 374 pounds, I don't care how you hide it. I don't care how you hide it. It's you can't make excuses for yourself. I don't look that fat. Well, so what? You're still 375 pounds. It's not about the weight. It's not about the look. It's about the health. So if you want to live, then you got to start doing the things that are necessary for you to live and stop making the excuses. And this is not, I know that people come to this for vanity purposes and they want to look better and they're worried about this, the abdomen being smaller or fitting their clothes or looking this way or that way. But the truth is that if you're unhealthy, none of this shit matters. Without your health, none of your looks even matter. Who cares? If you're laid up in bed and you're dying, who cares what you look like? Be realistic. So start taking care of yourself. If you do the right things for yourself, for your health, all the other stuff takes care of itself. All of it does. But if you're thinking that you're going to skip over the healthy stuff just to look good, it's like taking brown grass and spray painting it green and saying that it's good now. That's what you're doing. So don't just spray paint the grass green. Make it healthy. Allow it to survive. And you got to do the same thing for yourself. And you have to put yourself in a position where you can thrive. You're not going to thrive unless you start doing things right for yourself. Okay. CJ says there's days where I wake up wanting to not eat for a week to see what happens. You should try that. I've tried that. I'll tell you what, CJ, I absolutely 100%, I'm a huge advocate for fasting. However, go do your research, please. There's ways to do it safely, and there's ways to not do it safely. So, fasting is, oh my gosh, you will feel like a superhero when you're fasting. However, word of caution, when you fast, it kicks your body into high overdrive of detoxification. So it'll burn through the fat, but the fat has a lot of toxins in it. When you burn through the fat and get those toxins out of your body, you will experience the toxins, which may make you feel like shit. Your first experiences with fasting may not be that good. You may want to consider doing like cleansing, so juice cleansing to help get some of these toxins out of you. You also have to start researching how to where these toxins are coming from, so you can eliminate the toxins out of your body by not ingesting them in the first place. So again, these are all educational things that you have to start looking into. Fasting, I love fasting. Absolutely do fasting. There's a couple different options. There's the juice fasting, there's water fasting. Water fasting is going to be probably the best for you. Okay, I've put in a consultation and submitted my pictures a few weeks ago. Okay. If you did the paid consultation, I'm assuming you did the free consultation. So if you did it a few weeks ago, and you want to get bumped up till tomorrow, you can call the office tomorrow to see if we can move you up. Okay, how many calories do you recommend a day, Sierra? Honestly, I'm not a calorie counter at all. I really don't like rules at all. I've found food that is healthy for me, and I heard this one quote before that someone said that you never saw anyone getting fat off of eating vegetables. So nobody's gonna get fat off eating just a salad. Now if you put a bunch of garbage on the salad, that's the stuff you're gonna get fat from. But you're not gonna get fat from eating like broccoli or Brussels sprouts or healthy foods. You're not gonna get fat from that. So if you want to eat a lot of that stuff, you can eat a lot of it. I don't know how many calories that stuff has, but whatever. Fruit. Now, I'm a huge advocate of fruit. I really like fruit. I eat a ton of bananas, oranges, apples, kiwis. I love fruit. And that's like my snack. But fruit does have a lot of sugar in it, so your body may not do well with that much sugar. So you have to figure out what works for you. I have had a lot of success with intermittent fasting, and the way that works is you're going to have anywhere from 12 to 16 hours of fasting. So usually what that means is that say you stop eating at night at around 8 or 9 o'clock, and then you're going to wait 12 hours to 16 hours. So that's between 8 and noon, you don't eat. So you're from 8 at night till noon the next day, you don't eat, and then after that you can eat between noon and 8. So that's a simple way of intermittent fasting. And the belief structure behind that, and why they say that works, or how this is good for your body, is that when you fast, it allows your body to clear out all the garbage because it doesn't have to work anymore. So it's like giving it a rest. Like finally, your intestines, your kidneys, your liver, it all gets a rest, and everything gets cleared out, and it can rejuvenate and regrow and come back. And then when you're asking for, now we're going to eat, now it's ready to go. And so it's like a rest, and it's a rest and recover phase, and then a growth phase. And so this is it's just a philosophy. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. I lost a lot of weight by doing a different philosophy. I had a different philosophy in that I would eat more often. So I'd eat small snacks, healthy snacks, often throughout the day. And the belief behind that is if you're always eating, you're always burning. And if you're always burning, then the calories would, you're going to burn more calories. So that worked for me, might work for you. Intermittent fasting might work for you. Try it all. Try them both. Do what works. I've been getting ready, just looking for the right person, and I found you. Calling tomorrow. Good to hear, Chris. Okay, what are some good vitamins to take every day? All right, now we got some interesting questions. So I'm a big fan of supplementation. So when I started my journey of weight loss and changing my lifestyle, um, I started finding and doing research. I started finding that it seems as if no food is good for you, and that we are exposed to toxins everywhere. Our vegetables, have toxic pesticides and things of that nature. And supposedly even organic food, there's some issues with that. Meats, all meats are corrupted with toxins and hormones and things of that nature. Even our water, right? Our water supply is poisoned with fluoride and chlorine. So I was trying to figure out a solution for myself, right? I'm like, what can I do? So I started just taking supplements. I was like, okay, well, this is a protein supplement. It's supposed to be a meal replacement, so I'm just going to replace a few meals. This was like weight loss stuff, right? I replaced it with a couple meals, and and then I also started taking more vitamins because I figured, well, if I'm not getting the nutritional sustenance from the food that I'm eating, then I should start supplementing and taking different stuff. Now, as I did my research with vitamins and supplements, I found that there's a whole, this is like the Wild West because it's not really regulated. So it is kind of regulated, but it's not really regulated. So there's a lot of loopholes and ways that these companies can get, push their products through. And essentially, what the FDA wants is they want them to show that it doesn't really do anything wrong. Now, the problem with that is that it may not do anything right either, but yet they can still sell it. As long as there's nothing wrong, as long as it doesn't cause things bad, then they can sell it. So what they found with a lot of these vitamins is that the particles that they are trying to push them through our body is that the particles are too large, and so when they go through our system, they don't get absorbed appropriately, and so we may not even be getting the full benefit of the vitamin. So you got to get a good vitamin, and I've adopted this new vitamin system. It's called nanoparticles, and so nanoparticles are really really tiny particles apparently that allows for it better um, absorption. But just start thinking of and researching things that are focused on the absorption of the vitamin, and that will be more beneficial. But there's a lot of other supplementation that you can take to enhance our bodies. And so if you start thinking of your body as a tool or a machine, then you can start utilizing these different supplements to supplement and improve. And I've said before that our bodies are really just an accumulation of what we have amassed over the past decade or so, right? So the food that I'm eating, I'm taking in, and I'm amassing this body. I'm building this body with the building blocks that I've taken from the foods and the supplements and the things that my body is creating. It's like building blocks, right? We break these things down into small nutritional packets, and then you create muscles and bones and brain tissue. I mean, imagine this. I eat a banana, and my body is able to break the banana into building blocks to then utilize that banana for energy, utilize that banana for muscle building, use it for all kinds of chemical reactions that occur in my body. It's quite amazing. But the more you learn about this stuff, the more you realize that the food that we're getting is not necessarily going to be able to cover all of our biological needs. And that's why I believe that supplementation is important. Now, my belief is probably going to be different than someone else's. So you just got to figure out what works for you. I can tell you in the beginning, my thought process was that vitamins were a scam and they didn't really work, so I didn't even bother. Well, I changed my mind, and I literally I said I don't know if they work, but I'm just going to assume they do work. And assuming they do work, I'm just going to give it a shot, and I'm going to try it over a long period of time. And so I did. I said I'm going to try it, but I'm going to try it for 3 months, a minimum 3 months, to see if it works. And so I'll do a sampling of my vitamins. I'll take them for 3 months and see how I feel after that. And I'll tell you, it's hard to say, like, because I take a lot of different things, so it's hard to say like this one specifically does X, Y, and Z, and it makes me whatever. But don't think of it like you're trying to get this huge dramatic change. you're trying to get slight improvements. So if I can enhance my energy by 20%, that allows me to do 20% more. If I can lose, weight or enhance my metabolism by 20%, you're gonna lose weight 20% faster. You know, start thinking of just of the small improvements that you're making through these things, but also, you know, 3 months later, when I was healthy and I looked, and my skin was good, my hair was good, my muscle tone was good, and I was lean, and I achieved exactly what I wanted to. My brain said, well, the vitamins must have worked. The supplements must have worked. They must have done something right. And so, because I had that confirming belief, I did it more. I took more supplements, and I've continued taking them over the years. Okay, how long would I wait to go back to work? So it depends on what kind of work you do. If you get sedentary type jobs, our patients are saying 3 to 5 days is typically how long it takes for them to get back to sedentary type jobs. With that said, I have a very active job, and I had my procedure and I went back the next day. Both times I had 2 different procedures. I went back the next day. So that is possible too. I don't recommend that at all, but it is possible. So just kind of give you your you can realize what's possible. Fasting is very good. I fast often. Fasting durations Ramadan. It's great. I like it. If you do when you do the research, you'll find fasting is definitely affiliated with religious. I don't know what the words. Like ceremonial type, or it's religious beliefs. I know that Jesus fasted for 40 days before he started his ministry, and the belief was that it cleansed his system to the point where he had perfected his soul. So I don't know, whatever you believe, but I can tell you that fasting makes you feel like you're superhuman. It's amazing. I love it, and it cleanses out everything. So when you feel your body, it's like the toxins cause inflammation in our body. So once you eliminate the toxins out of your body, all of a sudden you feel what it feels like to not have inflammation in your body, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I can tell you, you feel like you can do anything. You feel, so strong. You feel like you have tons of energy. You feel light and flexible, mobile. Nothing's holding you back, and no restrictions. And this swelling, you realize what all the swelling feels like, and it's like your body is bloated and you're achy and you can't move, and it sucks. But once you realize what it's like without all that stuff, is man, it's a different world, and you'll be fighting the rest of your life to get back to that moment. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get back to that moment, and I wish I could be fasting all the time, but then I look like a like crackhead or something. Okay, so I've been seeing this non-invasive lipo. Is that dangerous, or a slower process of actual lipo? Non-invasive lipo does not remove fat. They try to use technologies, and I don't know which one you're talking about, but there's technologies that supposedly shrink the fat cells, melt the fat cells, freeze the fat cells, whatever bullshit they want to tell you. It works mediocre. So if you're large, it's not a right option for you. Those procedures, as non-invasive, non-surgical procedures, are meant for minimal improvement. And so listen to my words: minimal improvement. You're not going to get a big change. You're going to get minor change. And if you are 105 pounds and you have a little tiny bump that you're trying to get rid of, might make sense for you. But people, larger patients, the ones that I'm helping, that have big hanging belly, those aren't even an option for you. Don't even consider them. Don't waste your money, and you'll thank me later. Okay, what if one loses about 20 pounds before their surgery date, but already had a consultation? Will that change the price given for the procedure? In most cases, no. But if you think it should, call our office and we can do a quick thing before your procedure. Okay, has any client just get their fupa removed? Of course. But in most cases, when a person has a fupa, they have lots of other problems. So just removing that doesn't solve the problem in most cases. I mean, obviously it'll solve that problem, Okay, depending on what you get, fat transfer has more healing time, just lipo. People are so normal, things within. I don't know what that means. Oh, Rachel was answering questions. What's up, Omel? Jumping on right at the end here. I'm about to wrap this thing up. So, yes, it did. You're gorgeous. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here. I appreciate you for taking a moment to listen to me. And those of you on Facebook, please hit the share button. I appreciate that. If any of you have friends or family that might benefit from losing that big belly, those are the people I want to help. So please share it with these individuals. You know, many of them think that there are no other options. And so it takes people like us, that the people that are in the know, people that have knowledge, people that have seen what's possible, you got to share it with people who don't know. And that's how we help change each other. That's where the influence comes. Once you know how these things are done, then you need to share that information with other people. So please share this information with someone else. We're offering this 20% off on that big, you know, the big front of the belly. So it'll make a big, huge, dramatic change for an individual, and hopefully it'll make you feel good to help someone else change their life. So if you're serious, you want to make a change, you're ready to make a change, transform your life. Next step is getting the consultation. For this discount in particular, you would need to get the expedited consultation, because you need to get the consultation in this next week or so. Get the deposit placed before the end of the month. So please get the deposit. Get the consultation. Click on the link up above here. On Instagram, it's up on the profile. And if you can't find it there, go to our website, myshapelipo.com. I appreciate you guys for jumping on here. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.